The story of Jane Goodall. A long time ago, on April 3, 1934, a baby girl named Jane Goodall was born in London, England. From the very beginning, Jane loved animals. She didn't play with dolls like most little girls. Instead, she carried around a stuffed toy chimpanzee named Jubilee. Her father gave it to her when she was very young, and it became her favorite toy. Most children might have been scared of a toy chimpanzee, but not Jane. She loved it so much that she slept with it every night. Jane spent her childhood exploring the outdoors. She was always curious about the animals she saw. She loved watching birds in the trees, squirrels running around, and insects crawling on the ground. Jane wanted to understand how animals lived and why they did the things they did. One time, when Jane was 5 years old, her family went to visit a farm. Jane saw the chickens there, and she wanted to know how they laid eggs. Instead of asking someone, she decided to find out for herself. Jane quietly slipped into the chicken coop and hid. She sat there for hours, watching the hens. Jane didn't tell anyone where she was, and her family became very worried. They searched everywhere for her. Finally, Jane came out of the chicken coop, excited to tell them what she had learned about eggs. Her family wasn't angry. They realized that Jane had a special love for animals and a deep curiosity about the world. When Jane wasn't outside, she was reading books. Her favorite books were about animals and adventures. One book she loved was Tarzan of the Apes. Jane dreamed about living in the jungle, just like Tarzan, and studying animals. She imagined herself surrounded by wild creatures, learning all their secrets. As Jane grew older, her dream of going to Africa became stronger. But at that time, most girls didn't become scientists or explorers. Many people told Jane, "Girls don't do that kind of work." But Jane didn't listen. She believed that she could do anything if she worked hard and stayed determined. After finishing school, Jane didn't have enough money to go to college. Instead, she got a job as a secretary and saved every penny she could. Then, when Jane was 23 years old, her friend invited her to visit Kenya, a country in Africa. Jane was so excited. She had always dreamed of seeing Africa's wild animals, like lions, elephants, and giraffes. In Kenya, Jane met a famous scientist named Dr. Louis Leakey. He studied ancient human fossils, but he was also interested in studying chimpanzees. Chimps are very special animals because they are closely related to humans. Dr. Leakey believed that by studying chimps, people could learn more about themselves. Dr. Leakey saw something special in Jane. She didn't have formal training, but she loved animals and had a lot of patience. He thought she would be perfect for the job. So, in 1960, Dr. Leakey sent Jane to Gombe National Park in Tanzania to study wild chimpanzees. When Jane arrived in Gombe, the chimps were very shy. Every time she got close, they ran away. But Jane didn't give up. She spent hours sitting quietly, watching them from far away. She wanted the chimps to get used to her and trust her. Slowly, the chimps began to accept her. One day, Jane made an amazing discovery. She saw a chimp named David Graybeard using a stick to fish termites out of a mound. Before this, people thought only humans could use tools. Jane proved them wrong. She also saw chimps using leaves to drink water and even making their own tools. This was a big breakthrough in science. Jane also learned that chimps have feelings, just like humans. They feel happy, sad, scared, and even angry. Jane gave the chimps names, like Flo, Flint, and Fifi, and she noticed that each one had its own personality. Flo was a kind and caring mother. Flint was her playful little son. Fifi was curious and adventurous. Living in the jungle wasn't easy. Jane woke up early every day to follow the chimps. She wrote down everything she saw. She even ate the same food the chimps did, like bananas and nuts. But Jane didn't mind. She loved being close to nature and learning about the chimps. Over time, Jane's work became famous. Scientists were amazed by her discoveries, and people around the world wanted to know more about the chimps. Jane wrote books, gave speeches, and appeared on TV. She shared her knowledge with everyone and encouraged people to care for animals and the environment. But Jane didn't stop with chimps. She realized that many animals were in danger because their homes, like forests, were being destroyed. Jane started working to protect all animals and the places they lived. She traveled to different countries, teaching people how to take care of the earth. Jane also started a program called Roots and Shoots. This program helps kids learn how to protect animals, plants, and the planet. Jane believes that young people have the power to make a big difference in the world. Even now, Jane continues her work. She travels the world, giving talks and inspiring people. She shows us that one person can make a big difference, no matter where they come from or what others say. Jane's love for animals and nature has helped change the world. Her story reminds us to follow our dreams, be kind to animals, and take care of our planet.